Take a bow, Yashasvi Jaiswal. What a knock for the ages that we have seen. I mean,
You changed the intro. We know what's actually in your head.
I know what is in my head, I know what is in my heart also, but credit where it has to be given. I mean, 1000th game of IPL. The quiz question, who scored a century in the 1000th game of the IPL? Yashasvi Jaiswal. 124 of 62 balls. Look at, it was insane because 16 fours and 8 sixes means 112 of those 124 runs have come in boundaries.
Not just that, if you look at the contributions of everyone else, then that meme which we had for RCB's batting, can be subbed out, just keep Jaiswal and that's it. Rest everyone is blind hope.
Opal and Hare. That meme. Yep.
That one.
Big question marks now have to be seriously raised. I hope Kevin Peterson is noting it because Joss Butler 18 of 19. And at one point in time, we had all called him the greatest white ball player ever.
No, we said the greatest of his generation.
End of this generation.
However is a bit of a stretch. Let's be
But
fair.
18 of 19 and now his struggle's been there for 4 to 5 games.
In fact, if you look at it, it's starkly similar to how RCB or RR was struggling last year as well, because once Sanju's form inevitably falls off a cliff. Last year it was Butler propping them up. In the second half it was Jaiswal. Now it's only Jaiswal because Butler's form has fallen off a cliff. Sanju continues to do Sanju things, and I mean no one else in the middle order stepped up.
Imagine Sanju yet again, he could have fallen to Piyush Chawla 6 and then out. This was the same problem that plagued his international career, but now he tried to capitalize on it. The review luckily worked in that one review that they had worked until the 20th over. 14 of 10, but then Devdutt Padikkal failed, Jason Holder failed, Shimron Hetmeyer failed, Dhruv Jurel failed, Ashwin, that 4 that he hit, yet it was 8 of 5. But before I get to Jaiswal, we'll be waxing lyrical on Jaiswal this entire show. 25 minutes overtime. And why was that? Because of this review for wides and no balls.
Among other things.
I know, but I am
so many boundaries,
I am sorry. I am absolutely sorry. This wide and no ball review is an absolute farce.
Made even more farcical by the fact that when Jaiswal was given out, it appeared to be a no ball.
Exactly, and that is one thing I want to be talking about, because for me the man is not out. If you ask me, 124, yes, of course, that makes for a very good reading, but I still don't think his innings should have ended there. After having taken the review and that graphical representation that we saw after that, it does remind me of something which I think I've heard on comms sometime, which is, I think what they take into account while judging a ball as a no ball or not is not the fact that the batsman has that little bend. Of course, every batter will have that little bend, but how it would have been had the batter been standing right there and then they judge the weight tie. That again is, it doesn't add up. Let's say it doesn't make sense for you to be making that as the criteria and then overturning or not overturning the decision, because any batter while taking guard will have a natural bend. As simple as that, and that can be no reason to not overturn.
It's basically cricket's basic propensity that this sport often has of overcomplicating things for the sake of it. Basic tenet, what has always been the assumption when we say waist high? Naked eye view, what does it look? Why are we then overcomplicating by saying, oh, we'll take into account the back arc and how much his thigh is arced and how much his knee is bending, whether or not he's standing on his toes? Hell with all of that, man. You can't be making this much of a complicated, because naked eye. What does it look like on the naked eye? Before you had that representation, what would it be judged by? The batsman's in stroke, if it's here. Bend, no bend, given a no ball. Exactly. Here also when we saw the replay, like all of us said, he's saved. He's going to bat out to the end. Then you see the umpire doing this and I'm like, what? How does that make any sense?
We were talking about a potential free hit.
Yes, we were thinking, he hit this thing. Oh, it might be a free hit now. And then you see the umpire doing this. I'm like, what? How?
That was none. It defeats the purpose of technology. Technology is brought into the game to give it more parity, to overturn the wrongs. Let's say, of course, the wrongs of the past cannot be, they can't be corrected or reversed. But then, what is the point of all this delay and bringing in the technology when such glaring errors cannot be overturned. This for me was glaring.
It reminds me of when VAR first came into the English Premier League.
Yeah.
There were a lot of issues where the game would be slowed down. You would then make a decision which then turned out to be wrong. It's the same here. You are finishing the first innings at 9:30, which means you've in effect taken 2 hours. I know the broadcast would have started just about late considering the fact that but the match started on time.
Yeah.
Everything was on time. Despite that, to take 2 hours to finish an innings you have to be asking questions.
I'm
as to-
sorry, this is the last trend before we come to Yashasvi Jaiswal about the technology bit. Women cricketers, 99.9% of them bowl their overs on time. That is the one basic flaw that everybody overlooked.
And were we looking at such delays in the WPL where this was introduced first?
No.
It didn't happen. We saw the WPL end just a couple of days prior to the IPL, and this has been taken from the WPL, by the way.
Correct.
It was in the WPL where it was first introduced.
Trialed, yeah.
Review, wides and no balls. Yes, there was a minor delay, but not 25-minute delays, and not everything being challenged. Here I see at times, just because there's reviews, you'll end up challenging it.
And the funny part is, it's not like they've added a review, by the way. They still have 2 reviews to play with. Despite that, the teams are just getting more and more this thing. I don't understand. Surely you have that much sense as a batsman when you're out that, okay, I've been struck plumb. I may be the opening batsman, it may only be the 5th over, but I have been struck plumb. I know in my heart I'm out. You'll still see them go for the review. It's like, man, come on, have at least that much common sense. Don't go for the review for the sake of it.
I mean, I get that Mumbai Indians were very slow with everything, with the wides and the reviews, but also to their defense, there were a lot of sixes happening, and
Yeah.
you know what happens is the crowd takes too long to give the ball back. And
yeah.
in I think the very first or second over, they had to change the ball as well.
Because it went out of the
Yeah.
stadium.
Yeah.
Because there's a small gap that is there at the Garware Pavilion and the Tata Pavilion at that point in time. It just went past that gap. So they had to change the ball. There was a delay for that. But talking about Yashasvi Jaiswal, absolute clean hitting, 200 strike rate. He was in 6th gear. I think he was stuck there throughout the entire innings. And what a way to do it. I mean, doing it in your home ground, playing for a different franchisee, but then we all know his story, how he struggled coming from Badoi and then ensuring he had to sleep in the Maidans. He
was living with an uncle of his also, and at one point selling pani puris on the street.
And today, Rajasthan Royals, after 2 years been with the franchisee, 2 to 3 years, after all his success that he had in the 2020 batch of the Under-19 World Cup, here he is in the 1000th game of the IPL, scoring, I think, maybe some centuries might be scored later on in this tournament also. But I think this century will be right up there as one of the best because of the range of strokes,
Yes.
looking at the clean hitting and looking at how did he target each and every bowler? He was just fearless.
Correct.
Absolutely fearless. 62 balls. He's played half of the innings. Point to note from every individual, the youngster has shown the way. You can still consume 62 balls and yet get to a total in excess of 200, or you can chase a total down if you have the right intent and aggression. Right up here.
You didn't name names. KL Rahul.
I don't
take
want
note.
to name.
KL Rahul, take note.
Yes.
I don't want to, because see, KL Rahul also
Just one more ball lesser played, huh?
Yeah.
68 or 61 in that GT game.
Yeah.
But KL Rahul did that in the past. But the last 3 words that I said, that is the most important thing, in the past. Now, whether it's up here mentally, it's gone.
Yeah.
But with Yashasvi Jaiswal, I mean, this is the kind of hitting that made every one of us excited during the Under-19 World Cup.
Yes.
That knock that he played against Pakistan in the semi-final. And he was the only guy who stood tall in that Bangladesh final as well. Along with Ravi Bishnoi. Those were the only 2 guys who stood firm.
Yeah.
But then, yes, questions were raised about his temperament in 2020. He didn't get much of game time in 2021.
Yeah.
2022, when he was picked, they were questioning he was failing. Oh, what's the use? I think he's yet another flash in the pan. But then towards the end of 2022, he was matching Joss Butler.
And in fact, he was outdoing Joss Butler at times. But what was very key for him is that he didn't stop. It's not been start-stop.
Yeah.
He did very well in the second half of the 2022 IPL. went to domestic, got a load of runs. I think was the top run scorer for
He
in the
hit
runs.
a 200 in the Vijay Hazare.
Yes, and he also I think hit a ton or something in the Irani. Was it?
In fact, 357 runs in the Irani.
There we go. And that's a
century
one-off
and
match,
a
by the
double.
way. Yeah.
Yashasvi Jaiswal has gotten the most runs by a player in an Irani trophy match.
Exactly. So you can see that the hunger is still there's a hunger for more. There's this constant desire to prove that yes, I know what kind of a player I am. Now I need to show it to the world. He's been doing that very well, and if he keeps this form up, I don't think I'm overextending myself by saying that the selectors will be having a look at him sooner rather than later.
You want to add something, Gargi, to that?
No, I was adding to the Yashasvi Jaiswal appreciation is, I remembered this term, umbrella hitter. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know what
So
it is.
I believe through and through Yashasvi Jaiswal is an umbrella hitter. It's when you look at the graph of where the
Yes.
shots have gone.
360.
Like a 360.
Like a 360.
So he's been phenomenal, I believe, and someone who's been incredibly consistent, be it IPL, be it domestic, same kind of, he's translating all of the
Correct.
successes to every single format that he's playing, every single stage that he's going on.
And if you look at it technically, he doesn't seem to have that much of a problem either by playing spin or by playing short pitch quick bowling. He doesn't seem to be faced by that. I mean, Mumbai Indians did themselves no favors with Arshad Khan, Cameron Green, Jofra Archer. They bowled too short at him, okay?
Yeah.
But one shot from Archer, I mean, the ball was shot outside off stump. Jaiswal backed away and hit it well over long off for a six.
I think they were just showing that replay.
Yeah,
on
was
TV.
it?
Right towards the end.
Okay,
Right?
yeah, I mean, that shot stood out. Meaning that if you can hit a quick bowler, and remember today, Jofra Archer was really ramping
Oh, he
it
was
up.
ramping up the speed gun. I think he wanted to ensure that, and maybe test his elbow or whatever out, because he also had that recent surgery.
Yep.
Would want to be getting back into some rhythm. He was consistently with every ball he was bowling was ramping it up higher. 145, 7, 8, 9.
148.
Exactly.
No, I think
Cross
it even
100.
went past
he
150.
went
it
past
did.
150 on a couple of occasions too.
150 also it crossed.
I believe at one point he had crossed
One
it.
of the balls in the second over that he bowled crossed 149.4.
Exactly. So he was ramping it up, and Jaiswal playing that sort of a shot. Yes, I know, good batting track, but was 150 bowling even on a good batting track will trouble anyone.
Yeah.
That's not to draw any parallels though, but yes, we were just watching a video right upstairs wherein we saw a certain Virat Kohli face a 150 km/h ball of Haris Rauf and then knock it over his head.
Exactly.
It is actually reminiscent of that because at that speed to go back, and Gargi would probably elucidate better on this as to how big a task this is, to rock back on your back foot and then tonk a speedster, that too of Archer's quality, in that way it's very difficult.
It's very tough.
So, look, Jaiswal looking at his technique, and now I think because of the backing, this is what, if a franchisee backs a particular player to the hilt, it is up to the player to respond to that. More than KL Rahul, I would like to say, in that same team, Riyan Parag, take note. Because Riyan Parag, ever since 2018 to 2023, until he played his games, just 3 or 4 out of 50 plus games. Jaiswal, on the other hand, look at how quickly he's made a mark. It could potentially be match winning. We don't know. This Mumbai wicket seems to be high scoring, and you remember Surya Kumar Yadav, Cameron Green, Tim David, they all got Mumbai pretty close in that Punjab encounter as well.
Yeah.
So potentially a match winning one for Mumbai Indians, for Rajasthan Royals. So Riya, more than KL Rahul, yes, you can argue for the fact that yes, 62 balls, he had an impact of 124, 200 strike rate. But Riyan Parag, take note. Riyan Parag has to just look across the room to Yashasvi Jaiswal and say, okay, the management backed him, but he responded.
And
I haven't done.
More than that, by the way, don't forget last year Yashasvi, after the first half of the season, was dropped from the playing 11.
Yes.
People tend to forget that. He came back into the side when the knockouts were there, and he responded beautifully.
Yep.
Beautifully. And since then, hasn't looked back.
Yep. So let us take some comments. Mirage Rules always seems to have contrary this thing. I mean, am I chasing this? Rohit 75 above and Tim David, yes.
But then Rohit will be up against Trent Bolt in the first over.
Exactly, and Sandeep Sharma.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a good record against Sandeep Sharma either. I think he's been dismissed 3 times, if I'm not wrong, against him in the 6 innings or 9 innings, I think, that he's played against him.
GGK is saying, should Jaiswal open with Gill in T20s versus West Indies? He's way ahead of Ishan, Shaw, Gaikwad, and had a great domestic season.
See, that's the thing. With Gaikwad, he's also had a good domestic season. And I think Gaikwad would trump him there because he's someone who's been on the radar of the Indian team. He played the T20Is last year against South Africa, was unfortunate to get injured, and then kind of fell off. But, Jaiswal, not the worst option in the world to be keeping at least in your squads. Because you can't ignore him. You can't even say he's just an IPL flash in the pan. He's done well in domestic cricket too. He's ticked all the boxes.
And he can't be, called either a flash in the pan or a one-season wonder because he's provided us with these knocks. Right now, he's the orange cap holder. In fact, he's given us these moments to talk about in the previous seasons as well. So the man should definitely feel, he's been knocking on the door for quite some time now. He'd now hope that he can knock this door down this time around now that he's put himself in such a good position.
But I would say if Jaiswal kind of has a slump, then you may have to wait. But yes, if he continues the form, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Yes, Hariharan Vishwanathan from the US is saying, MI deserve to lose 25 extras.
Of which 16 were wides. We were complaining about CSK giving away too many extras. Look at this.
Mumbai, that's why you exceeded so much. I mean, you exceeded your time limit in a big way. And if Mumbai don't get penalized for this, I don't know what will then. Because 2.5 hours, 2 hours, I mean, it's too much. 2 hours, it was there the start of the tournament, in the middle of the tournament now, it cannot be repeated again. And Soumya Dasgupta, Jaiswal has to get into the India side now. He's scoring heavily in red ball cricket also. We do need a left-hander at the top. Ishan Kishan will possibly not go a long way.
Yeah, I think Ishan Kishan, considering the fact that you've got KL now suddenly back as a wicket-keeping option, and you have someone like Sanju there as well, maybe someone like a Jitesh knocking on the door. I think Ishan Kishan's days are numbered despite, and I think he, that 200 became more of an albatross around his neck than anything else.
Yeah. And today's keeping also, I mean, it was quite disappointing. I mean, because...
What's new?
Yeah, unfortunate, because he could have easily run out of play. He ran.
Yeah.
Tried to throw the stones, but he still missed.
Remember,
without having the glove on, by the way.
Remember, for the last 2 seasons when MI were successful, 19-20, Ishan wasn't always their wicketkeeper. It used to be Quinton de Kock.
Yes.
Ishan would more often than not be an outfielder.
And if you look at it, Mumbai's downfall began when you gave away Quinton de Kock.
I think they can do the reunion considering Quinny is barely playing in his other franchise.
I don't think so, because
But even then,
the balance totally went awry. The balance just went haywire. Quinton de Kock was the stabilizing factor at the top.
Yeah, because Rohit would get you starts,
Yes.
but Quinton would get you big runs when he was in.
Yep. And the impact sub is not Kuldeep.
It's Kuldeep Sen.
From Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. So even remember, he's also coming back after a back injury that derailed his Bangladesh tour.
Although to be fair, he was derailing his Bangladesh tour himself by bowling horribly.
He did. So 213 is the target that Mumbai Indians. Bolt versus Sharma. Pick your winner, Akash Bharadwaj.
See, Bolt doesn't get him in this over, then probably Sharma.
I think yes. Although I would want Trent Bolt to succeed because he's had a great record against the top order, the Indian top order, and also first
In the
over.
power plays, yeah.
First over. He's taken 2 wickets, 1 wicket on a regular basis. So
Correct.
And
Koi baat nahi.
Rohit's birthday. Yes, may the force be with Rohit. Because if they lose,
बर्थडे में केक काटेंगे आपको फोटो भेज देंगे
yep. So Rohit has survived this over from Bolt. So I think the first round goes to Rohit Gurunath.
6 times already. Trent Bolt has picked up a wicket while bowling in the power play. So that's how deadly he is right at the start.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting, this Rohit versus Trent Bolt battle. Are any of us changing predictions though?
No, not
No.
But since we're talking about predictions, can we recall our score predictions?
I don't think any of us got them right.
I got it.
You
right.
got it. She predicted 212.
Oh, I said
15.
15 she said.
I said 207.
How much did they end up getting?
212.
12.
Yeah,
Spot on.
4-5 more runs and I would have been winning it. Anyway, no
I predicted
problem.
199 if I'm not wrong. Or 100.
All of us were pretty close to the 200 mark.
Yeah, I was the lowest, 194. I had predicted. So, yeah, expecting a Tim David show, Aditya Mohanty, yeah, maybe.
It'll actually be good, yaar, to have a contest. you know, it's Wankhede at the end of the day. You expect about 200 runs to be scored over there. And given the batting that Mumbai
Punjab
had-
Kings, luckily in the final over, were given an Arshdeep special.
Yes.
40 lakhs of losses,
Yes.
but still no problem. Punjab still won. So, who will be that for the Rajasthan Royals? Sandeep Sharma, hopefully, he's emerged a very good death bowler.
Yeah, but I think the key will be how is it their spinners do, because again,
Yuzi
the
and
spin
Ashwin.
twins, Yuzi, Ashwin, if they can get you some inroads in the middle,
Yeah.
then suddenly things are getting stuck. But let's see.
Yeah, we are still maintaining with Rajasthan Royals winning.
Favorites, yeah.
But again, look, in the last couple of days, Gujarat and Punjab have upset the apple cart by chasing. Because teams that were winning, that were batting first, they were winning. But Gujarat and Punjab changed the script. And whether Mumbai can do it, this is the venue where 200 can be chased down.
True.
So let's see Sandeep Sharma now bowling.
Oh, nice little late outswing.
Yep. So we'll be back for the match end, and there are more videos coming your way. So do subscribe to Sports Today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. From me, Harshit, Gargi, and Shane. See you soon. Bye bye.